Cinema. It houses the largest cinema screen in all of Europe. And now we're coming on to Waterloo Bridge, otherwise known as the Ladies' Bridge, because it was completed by the ladies of London during the Second World War, and as it was completed by the ladies, it was completed on time and under budget. Check it out. On your left hand side is a great little photo opportunity if you want to take one of the London Eye encircling the Houses of Parliament. Most definitely. Now guys, as we're coming over Waterloo Bridge right now, it's worth pointing out that London really is a tale of two cities, because on your left hand side is the city of Westminster. It's 1,000 years old, founded by Edward the Confessor. It's our cultural and our political sector in our capital city. It's where you'll find the House of Parliament. It's also where you'll find Westminster Abbey, and it's also where you'll find Buckingham Palace. But on your right hand side, you've got the City of London, the ancient Roman City of London. Some 2,000 years old it is. That's our financial sector in our capital city. It's where you'll find the Bank of England, and as you can actually see, St Paul's Cathedral. But just over here, on our right hand side, you've got Somerset House. Somerset House used to be the home of the Admiralty and the registering of births, marriages and deaths. It's now actually the home of the Courtauld Gallery, and on a lovely day like today, you can actually go to the courtyard right there, and they've got the fountains on, so they actually spray water right up from the floor, just to annoy all the parents whilst the kids are running through there. I will say, it was designed by an ancestor of mine, a fellow by the name of Sir William Chambers. I'm a direct descendant of him. Yes. You got a blooming rock star as your guide today, eh? He's actually buried at Westminster Abbey. From musicals to theatre, to comedies, to tragedies, to horror, to opera, a whole lot. You'll find it here in the West End of London. Here's our stop for Covent Garden, the gateway into Theatreland.
We can stay. That's fine, we can stay.
Drury Lane. Just on our left hand side, we've got the Wardour. The interior that was actually designed to replicate the Titanic. The Aldwych on our left hand side. But my favourite musical in the whole world is actually being played just down there on your left hand side at the Peacock Theatre in May, and that is the Rocky Horror Show. Yes. Really? I was born in 1986. We've got the London School of Economics just on our left hand side. It's where people like John F. Kennedy actually studied, as well as Mick Jagger studied their mission and an embassy. It's because Australia is part of the British Commonwealth. And it is Anzac Day today, by the way, guys. It's all about Australia and New Zealand today. But it's well worth pointing out that over at Australia House is where they where they shot the scenes for Gringotts Bank in the first Harry Potter movie. Most definitely. Now, this building on our left-hand side is not associated with Harry Potter, by the way. I know it looks a bit Hogwartsy, but this is the Royal Court of Justice. This is the highest civil court in the land. This is where you want to go and sue people, over here. This is where Johnny Depp went to sue the Sun newspaper, and unfortunately he lost. But then he went to America, and then he won! Go Johnny, go, go, go! I'm always going to be a Johnny Depp fan. If you see the dragon just in the middle right here, guys, we are now venturing out of the city of Westminster and about to venture into the city of London, the old Roman city of London. Roman indeed, yes. 2,000 years ago. Now we are going to get caught in a little bit of City of London traffic at this time of day, so be patient. But now we are coming in to the City of London. Church is the oldest circular church in the City of London, and that's where Dan Brown based most of the Da Vinci Code. And if you've ever read the Da Vinci Code, guys, you'll know that it's 90% fiction and 10% actual truth. But it's locked off at the moment. The Dundee Courier on your left hand side, guys, is actually the oldest comic book makers in the whole world. Dates back to 1903. It's where they published the Beano and the Dandy. And there's still actually a Demon Barber of Fleet Street down here. And it's just on the right hand side, guys. But you could get undercut done there for around about £9. So it's not too shabby. I look forward to it myself, actually. Oldest Irish pub in all of England. Their roast dinner is fantastic. But you can always only get that on a Sunday. On your left hand side, you've got the old Cheshire cheese. People such as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Ernest Hemingway, and Charles Dickens used to drink in that pub. They've even got a stuffed parrot there that used to swear at people back in the day. And on your right hand side, on St. Bride's Avenue, you've got St. Bride's Church on your right hand side. So there's the Wedding Cake Church, designed by Sir Christopher Wren. It's where the tiered wedding cake was inspired from. Now it's not the only church that Sir Christopher Wren designed around this way, because we're about to now come up towards St. Paul's Cathedral, and we have a stop at St. Paul's Cathedral as well. So if you do want to go around like Sir Christopher Wren's magnum opus, this will be our next stop. That's there we're called the traffic lights. Remember, there's some 6,000 traffic lights in central London. We're about to come up to our St. Paul's Cathedral stop, so if you do want to go off St. Paul's Cathedral, have a gander around Sir Christopher Wren's magnum opus, or if you're like me and you're a bit of a true crime buff, just on your left hand side is the Old Bailey. That is the Central Criminal Court. That's where most of our criminals have been tried from. People such as Dr. Crippen, the Cray twins, the Yorkshire Ripper, they've all been tried there. It's also the old site of the Newgate Prison. But here we are coming up to our site, our stop for St. Paul's Cathedral. It took 40 years to build St. Paul's Cathedral, and you know what hasn't happened? It hasn't burnt down. It's 365 feet high, 1 foot for every day of the year. It's got 3 domes in it. So you might see the outward dome right there, but there's actually 2 domes that actually keep it upright. Even on the pillars where the clock towers are, you might notice at the top that both of them have pineapples on them. And that's because Sir Christopher Wren was obsessed with pineapples. Absolutely obsessed with them. He in fact put them on every single church he designed in the City of London. It very nearly did burn down in 1943 when an incendiary bomb went right through the roof that was bombed by the Germans. But the air raid precaution wardens actually put it out in time. So it actually saved its butt. Sir Christopher Wren is actually buried inside of St. Paul's Cathedral. Actually, on his tomb, it actually says, "Reader, if you seek my monument, look around you." Yeah, that's not being big-headed at all.
Maybe stop by St. Paul this time. Yeah. Bill?
Yeah.
Now, it was completed during the reign of Queen Anne. There's the statue you can see on your left-hand side. That's the statue of Queen Anne. But it went through 5 monarchs before it was completed, St. Paul's Cathedral. So it started with King Charles II, then his brother James II, then King William III and Queen Mary II, and it was completed during the reign of Queen Anne. I think she was only monarch for 4
before breakfast. Okay.
You might just be able to notice just up the top there, if you look just above the clock tower, that's where the pineapple is. Yeah, indeed. I think it's like, so Chris O'Reilly was absolutely obsessed with pineapples, you know, because back in when they first brought pineapples into Great Britain, they didn't know what the heck they were for. They were brought in by these a father and son team by the name of John Trandescent. And so they thought they were just ornaments. They didn't realise, like, what can we do with them? So they used to just put them in the middle of dinner tables as an ornament. And then they realised after a while when they started rotting, they were actually foodstuffs. This is way before they ended up putting them on pizzas and stuff. I don't know about you, but I do like pineapple on a pizza. Bridge, it's one of London's few pedestrian bridges. Take it all the way over to the Tate Modern Gallery. And as you so rightly said, yes, it was used in Harry Potter. Usually there's going to be a few dementors attacking you there. It's otherwise known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. And the thing is, when it first ever opened in 2000, 100,000 people went over it, not realising that it wasn't built for that kind of a mass of people. So it used to swing from side to side. Luckily it's been reinforced now. It's been reinforced now. About to tell you about it. Now, if you want the perfect idea of a very ornate drinking fountain, here we have on our right hand side. Now this actually used to stand outside of St. Paul's Cathedral as a drinking fountain for the public. But this is how, like, back in Victorian times, this is how you did a drinking fountain, okay? So here, and if you see the zodiac clock just in the middle of it right there, there is a bust of Sir Winston Churchill. There, right in the middle. Him putting the most grumpiest face you could ever imagine. Thing is, he was like Winston Churchill and Lord Bracken were actually best friends, and that's why Lord Bracken put it there, just to sight off his best mate. Gotta love that story. Settled in the old Londinium some 2,000 years ago. Well, when they settled in England, in fact, you know, it wasn't very well received by many of the Celtic people who lived here. In fact, the Iceni tribe did not fare so well about it. So the Iceni tribe, led by their queen, Boudica, burnt London to the ground. Burnt London to the ground. And then she went to St. Albans and Colchester and did this very same thing. She was a very angry, red-headed woman. So it got to a point in around about 80 AD where the Romans actually met her in battle. She had an army of 100,000 people. The Romans had 10,000 and the Romans actually defeated her. Thing is, instead of actually being captured by the Romans, Queen Boudica committed suicide and she's actually buried underneath of King's Cross Station. Yes. So it's not only Diagon, it's not only the way to like Hogwarts there, it's also where the first Queen of England is buried. Oh, hell of a woman. Got the Bank of England just on your left hand side, guys, where our banknotes are made from. And you might just be able to make out on your left hand side, if you look right in the distance on your left hand side, there is the Guildhall down there. It's the one that's got the spire on the top. and that is the offices of the Lord Mayor of London. Now, the City of London is not conjoined to the rest of our capital. It's basically like its own principality, if you will imagine it. The Lord Mayor of London, there's only ever one every year. About nearly 700 Lord Mayors of London. And the Lord Mayor of London has the consecutive power inside of the square mile, as it's known. Careful, guys. But underneath of the Guildhall is actually where the Roman amphitheatre is. And it's completely free to go into. Another one of those Roman stabilities here in the City of London is just underneath of this building on our left-hand side, and that is the Temple of Mithras. That's completely free to go into as well. They've got a smoke and light display and some people speaking in Latin. Where the Fidelity building is just on your left-hand side, you see a little alto poking out right there, and that is actually the oldest part of our capital, where it was first ever founded, and that is the London Stone. It's where the Romans first ever founded London. You don't have to stop yet, guys. But as we go through the City of London right here, so we're talking about the Great Fire of London that happened in 1666 on the 2nd of September. It's pretty much all down to King Charles II's baker, Thomas Fariner, who burnt his baker's shop down. And the thing is, as he burnt his shop down, he burnt the shop next door to him down, and the next shop, the next shop, then the next shop, then the next shop, then the next shop. And the next thing you know, the City of London was ablaze. For 4 days and 5 nights, the City of London was ablaze. 2/3 of the city was destroyed. Luckily, only 8 people died. Only 8 people. Thing is, after the Great Fire of London, they actually wanted to redesign the City of London to be a bit more like Paris, to be like promenade and everything like that. But Sir Christopher Wren was like, look, these people want to get back to work and rebuild their homes. So that's why the street plan is very much the same way as it was back in medieval times. That's why many of the streets actually still retain their old names, like Bridge Street, King William Street. But one thing that Sir Christopher Wren was able to build, not only the 72 churches here in the City of London, but also the monument to the Great Fire of London, which is just coming up on our left-hand side. It was him and this fellow called Robert Hooke who designed that. They actually initially designed it to be a telescope, but all the optics kept getting knocked out of fashion because of the traffic. But it's 202 feet high, 311 steps to go to the top. And when you go to the top there, you get a certificate. Yes. But here we have a stop for London Bridge and the monument to the Great Fire of London. So if you want to go for the monument, or go off and figure out, well, hang on, this doesn't look anything like the brochures. How comes this is London Bridge? This is definitely London Bridge. Thing is, this is actually the 5th London Bridge, okay? This one's actually 50 years old. So happy birthday, London Bridge. I think we've got some people coming off, Jake.